Thank you very much, Armand. What an honor that is, everybody. Thank you very, very much. On behalf of the American Football Association, if we could please have your attention, everybody. Thank you. We just need about 10 minutes just to go through a couple of things before we start our meal. On behalf of the American Football Association, we'd like to welcome you to the 33rd Annual Dinner and Banquet Ceremony. Isn't that wonderful? Wow, 33 years. And boy, what a good-looking group. In fact, it reminds me of the very loud, very unattractive, very mean-spirited mother that brings her two children to Walmart, and as she was walking through the door, she is using every profanity word she can possibly do on her children. So the Walmart greeter welcomes them. Good morning, glad to have you at Walmart. Nice children you have. Are they twins? And so the very ugly lady stops for a minute, turns to the Walmart greeter and says, hell no, they're not twins. And with that, I'm just getting my thoughts here, everybody. Sorry about that. With that, excuse me, I apologize. She goes on to say, she said, the oldest one is 9 years old. The youngest one is 7 years old. How in the world would you think that they are twins? Are you blind and stupid? No, I'm not blind or stupid, the Walmart greeter said. I just can't believe you've been laid twice. Welcome to Walmart and have a nice day. Sorry about that, everybody. Well, good evening. My name is Craig Ochoa. I'm out of the class of 2003, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being your MC for this evening. And it's wonderful to be here. I believe, Dave, this is one of the largest attendance that we've had in fact, it may be ever that I'm aware of. We have about 200 attendees this evening. So congratulations. Yes, Seal. Huh? 325 was the maximum. Was that down in Florida at one time? Was it? Okay. Oh, at the Holiday Inn here. Well, anyway, this is a terrific turnout, and we're so glad you're here. And it just shows all of the AFA what a commitment the entire organization has from a membership standpoint as well as the function. You can imagine, if you've ever put on an event like this, how much time that it takes. And at this particular time, I would like to introduce not only your board of directors, but the board of directors is also the planning committee for your event this evening. And I think it's very important that we announce their names. If you can hold your applause till we've announced all of them, but this will be your board of directors and the folks that have put together tonight's program. Dave Birch, our president, and if you please stand when I call your name, or if you're already standing, just wave like in the guys in the back. Seal Reel, Rhonda Reel, George Afcroft, Roma Strazala, Dick Leland, Jordan Kopek, Bill Christie, Marion Hal Lockhart, Ralph Moose Fahey, who cannot be with us unfortunately, Keith Ballard, and myself. Let's give everyone a round of applause, everybody, for the fine job they did. And I know we're going to see all these folks in a few minutes, but because this evening really is for the wonderful and proud new inductees that we're going to be introducing in a short time, I would just like to have all of the 20 or 19, unfortunately, one can't be with us, but all the 19 new inductees to stand up so we can give you a round of applause. And congratulations, everybody. And not to be outdone, but I know we have a number of alumni in the room, and we also would like to acknowledge all of you who have already been inducted. So for those alumni in the room, would you please stand up so we can acknowledge you? That's good. Thank you, everyone. As you know, from a financial position. There's no way we could host this event without outside revenue and outside sources. The dinner value or ticket that we all paid, believe it or not, does not come anywhere near the cost and the expenses of running a program like this. And I think if you all can bear with me for 2 or 3 minutes while I read those sponsors, and they are on a banner up on the right-hand side of where you're sitting. I'd just like to read their names quickly, just so you know who they are. And I think when these individuals and companies donate money for a function like this, they should be recognized. We'll start with the Red Cloud Food Service, which is Bob Harrison, who's with the Elmhurst Travelers. Watertown Red and Black, which is the oldest semi-pro team in the United States, going back to 1896. Dick and Cheryl Leland, who is in the room. Sadler and Company. Phoenix Internet Service. Simply D Delightful Cookies. Well, that sounds good. Steve Weed Productions, who are the folks who are taking all of our video in the back. We have Ambert Energy, Your Living Essential Oils, Neil Anderson and Recruit R2 at the table here in the front. Neil, thank you. Prosper Loan and Marketplace, Legal Shield Service Incorporated, Chemlon Cafe, Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, Columbian Mutual Insurance, Dr. Jordan Kopek. I saw him earlier right here. Thank you, Jordan. Larry DeVoe, AFA Benefits Insurance, Bloomingdale Signs of Tomorrow, which are based out of the Chicago area, Phantom Creations, Signs Now in Downers Grove, Illinois, Quick Stitch Banner Finishing Solutions, which is run by Rhonda Reel, Creative Business Services. And the last one is last but not least, but there's one of our members that is a club, and it's the Elmhurst Travelers. They consistently bring a number of their members to our organization, but time and time and time again, many members of this particular club have given us money to help offset the cost of this evening. And they're back in the middle table here, and I would like the entire Elmhurst Travelers organization to stand up for those all that you have donated. Well, in fact, the whole Elmhurst Travelers group, stand up for all of your wonderful contributions and what you have done. And next, I'd like to introduce Dave Birch, our president, that's going to talk a little bit about the internet broadcasting that we all are available to for tonight's ceremony. Dave?
Okay. Good evening. This is something we started about 3 years ago, and like most of those things, you can never go back. So each year we've continued to improve on this. So this is being broadcast live. Last year we got a phone call from Okinawa, Saturday morning there. Dave Fleck's nephew, I believe, oh, you're over there, okay. They were watching the program live, so that validated that everything worked, because I think that was the first time we'd done the smartphone and all that stuff. Normally the desktop stuff is pretty easy. So tonight, yeah, we've been running live since about 4 o'clock. Everything works, all the electrons flow. The only difference is if you got an iPhone, we don't have that codec yet. So it's going to work on Android devices or desktops, okay? Let's see. And Bucky Denton's going to share with us later. I guess his father in Arizona was just watching him, so we know that piece works. So enjoy that, and if you want to send an email to a family member to let them know where to go, it's right on the website. You go to our website, American Football Association, ASSN.com. It opens right up, and it's real easy, and the screen will be there for viewing. Okay, so, and also, Steve's going to archive this video, so it'll be available for viewing later, or probably the rest of the year. So that's what we have going, and a few other things in play, but this came together quite well, and have a good evening. Thank you. Okay.
right, I know everybody's hungry, and as we have done in the past, which is a tradition, I'd like to, if you all don't mind, say a quick prayer for the blessing of our food and our wonderful family here together. If you please bow your heads now. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this food you have placed before us this evening. Let us be mindful of those who are less fortunate than we are, and let us keep those children of yours in our prayers and thoughts always. Dear God, as we prepare to share this meal of yours, we offer our thanks for the loved ones that you have placed in our lives. We recognize and fully realize that none of this would be possible without your help and guidance, without your blessing and intervention. Father, thank you for our safety in getting us to this place this evening. Some of us have come a long way, whether it was by driving or flying, and we ask you to look over us as we return home in the next couple of days. God, as we prepare for this meal and to enjoy this wonderful evening, we are reminded of all the sacrifices you endured on our behalf so that we may be free of sin, so that we may live a life in your image and likeness. Thank you, dear Lord, for the opportunity you have bestowed on those new AFA Hall of Fame inductees this evening. What a wonderful honor each of them has achieved in being selected in such a prestigious organization like the AFA. Father, we offer our deepest thanks and praise to you for all that you have given us. Let us be led by your example. Let us go from this place tonight and share your love with others, knowing that absolutely none of this would be possible without your love for us. Amen. Enjoy, everybody. I'm not sure the procedure as far as getting to the food stations. You'll take care of it. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and eat, and then we'll come back up and do some housekeeping items. Once everybody has eaten, that'll take about 10 minutes, and then we'll start our first set of inductees. Bon appetit, everybody, and enjoy it. Welcome on board.
Thank you. So
So let's go ahead and start this wonderful program, which is, again, the main reason why we're all here tonight. The first inductee and presenter, unfortunately, I don't have a list of the presenters this time, but the first inductee is Matthew Magda. And then if Matthew and his presenter then would just come right up to the podium, please. And then on deck will be Ernest Wash and his presenter. So Ernest and his presenter, well George Afcraft, perfect. If they can stand over here on the right-hand side, and then Ernest and Reggie will be up for the presentation now.
Well, you want to refresh your picture taking in the video.
Okay. Again, just as a reminder to the inductee and the presenters that once you have done your presentation, they're asking you to go over here to our right, our stage right, to take a picture and also to get a video done as well. So, and then you can scoot on from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first presenter.
Good evening. My name is Reggie Farmer, and I was very privileged to coach Matthew Magda in Las Vegas, Nevada in 1993. He was a member of the Las Vegas Gamblers. I know the saying goes, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but today I'm going to share a little bit about one of our local guys here. From the first tryout to the last moment of our season, Matt was a constant, and Matt was a constant pain in my butt. But that was a good thing. As a coach, you understand when you have the kind of player that Matt was. Matt was always the first one at practice. Before coaches, before anybody else was there, Matt was there. And when practice was over and the equipment was put away and the lights were being turned out, Matt was still there. Always working on routes, always wanting to get better. And as a coach, you love having players like Matt. Matt wasn't the flashiest person by any means. Definitely wasn't the fastest. Definitely wasn't the strongest or the toughest. But there was nobody that was going to outwork Matthew Magda. It never mattered to Matt how big guys were that he was going against. Didn't matter how fast, didn't matter how notorious the player was or the qualifications that the player came with. Whenever Matt walked out on the field, he believed that he was going to beat you that day, and it was because of the work that he put in that whole week. Matt is here today, again, not because he was cocky, it was because Matt put his nose to the grindstone and he worked his tail off day in and day out. Matt, he is the most dedicated athlete that I've ever been around, and I've been around quite a few athletes in my time. And there are guys that pretend to work, guys that look good on the field, but they don't put the time in to be the best. And there's a reason why Matthew is standing here before you today. It's because he's very dedicated to everything that he does. And I'm very proud to have coached him and very, very honored to say, welcome, Matt, to the AFA Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Coach Farmer. Listen, I'm going to try to do as Craig had mentioned and keep this as short as I can. I do collectively want to thank a group of people. I'm not going to go as far back as elementary, but I do want to thank the people that are here today, for the most part because they've always been there. Having that been said, the Commissioner Dave Birch, Dr. Lisa DeNaples, Coach Farmer, who you just met, Coach Garner, my high school coach came in today, and my son Matthew, who's here. I just have one message, and I'll keep it pretty short, and that is I just wanted to thank the AFA for the opportunity. There's been a lot of parallels in my life as it relates to the AFA and what I'm doing now as the Vice President of Operations at the best property in the world at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Both came with tests. It was never easy, but the one parallel that I've always found is that I was dedicated as a member of the AFA. I'm dedicated now to the good people at Mount Airy, and the biggest thing that I have is that I'm happy with what I've always done and what I do now. For me, I understand the individual accolades that come with this, and I understand where I'm standing today. There's a lot of heroes in this building, there's a lot of heroes in this room. But for me, the thing that makes this more special to me than you could ever imagine is that I get to share this with my son, Matthew. It's with that I respectfully and humbly accept the induction into the 2013 Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Ernest Wash, and the presenter is going to be George Ashcroft. On deck is going to be Bill Simon, presenter, and Bob Kane, inductee.
I'd like to start by thanking Dave Birch, the real family, everyone on the board of directors for this great event every year. A lot of work goes into it, as they were saying, and I'm very humbled and honored to be a part of it. The young man that I'm gonna introduce here in just a minute got a Catch 84 nickname because he played for 20 years for the Watertown Red and Black, and as of a year ago when he retired of 25 years of the military service, anytime he was sent to another base, he declined to do so to play ball. And that says a lot for this man and what he thinks of his family. Personally, we've took him to our own family reunions. We kind of adopted Ernie a long time ago. My personal family did. So I am very honored to stand here before you, say Catch 84 is the newest member of the 2013 class of Hall of Fame. If you look at the back of your program, the very last article, he's very humble. When he was asked to send in everything there was to talk about. This is the kind of man he is. It's short, it's sweet. He's got a smile that wins you over. And as a coach of 23 years, this guy's made my life a lot easier. Ernie Wash.
Really nice. First of all, I'd like to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, none of us would be here today. For everybody that made the long trip down here, thank you for coming. I'd like to thank my family. They all came from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Coach family back there. Thank everybody for coming. I'm going to give a special shout out to my wife back there. I got a surprise knock on the door, and she was able to drive my son 7 hours here, along with my 11-month-old daughter. Been back there in the corner. So, as the presenter before myself, I'd like to thank my son. He's 4 years old, my little mini-me. My life back there. That's him standing up waving. You're gonna see it. But like I said, they got a knock on the door and had a big surprise, and I saw his smiling face, and it took a lot to keep me from crying, so I'm gonna try not to. But as Coach said, I'm very humble. I try not to boast about what I had done and what I have not done. I've been in the military for 25 years, been there, done that, played football for 20 years. To me, I consider it both the same. You keep everybody's family. My soldiers were family, our teammates were family. You practice how you play. That's how I did it in the military, 25 straight years. You rehearse, and then you go to war. Everything is everything. I'm definitely glad to be here. I never thought I'd be here in a million years. This was a stop on my bucket list, so I can scratch that off. I didn't think it would be in this manner, but I'm greatly appreciative, and I thank everyone for coming out. But I want to give a special shout out to my coach, George Ashcraft, right here. He had faith in me a long time ago, when I didn't even have faith in myself. Put in a lot of hours on the practice field, a lot of hours. Along with that and the military, so it was kind of hard at sometimes, but like I say, George took me into his family. Diane's back there. She's one of my 4th or 5th moms I got here. So they took me in under their wing and made me feel like family when my family was away, so thank you, George, for that. Thank you, Diane. I want to give another special shout out to my mom, Erisine Coates. Stand up, Mama. That's her waving. I love that woman to death, and she knows it, so I get my smile from her, in case anybody wants to know. But she went through a lot to get us to where we are. I retired at 25 years. I have a brother, Eric Marsh, back there. He did 20 years, and he's retired. So you did well, Mother. I love you very much. Thank you. With that being said, I'm greatly proud to be here today, along with the other 19 inductees. And hopefully I did something that makes everyone proud, and continue to do that. Thank y'all. God bless.
Congratulations, Ernie. Nice job. Our next presenter is going to be Bill Simon, and our next inductee is Bob Kane. On deck, and unfortunately I don't think he is here, John Martin, but I believe Dick Leland, aren't you going to be the presenter anyway? Okay, great, Dick. So let's welcome up Bill Simon, our presenter, and he'll introduce Bob Kane.
I'd like to say, back in 1967, the Manitowoc Chiefs of the Central States Football League was looking to recruit some people. And we were lucky enough to have a Marine recruiter move into our area who signed a contract with us in 1967, and he was the best recruit that we ever happened to our team. Bobby was a heck of a football player. He was an all-around football player. He had a heck of a year in 1967, his first year. He not only ran back punts, ran back kickoffs, did a little rushing from the wide receiver position with an end around. He averaged 22 yards carry, and but the best thing he ever did was catch the ball and run with it. He led the league in receiving that year, and was fortunate to make 55 receptions with a 16.5-yard average. And at the end of the year, he was honored by being the Central States Football League Player of the Year. He continued to have honors in 68 and 69, making All-League both years. And too bad that he was in the Marine Corps and they moved him, or I'm sure he would have played a few extra years. In 1997, he was enshrined into the Manitowoc Chief Hall of Fame. He also played 3 years of football with the Marine Corps while in the service, and served 2 years of duty in Vietnam. I believe Bobby was the best receiver in our league at the time that he played, and I'm truly honored to present him to you as a new inductee into this wonderful organization. Thank you.
Jacket's a little long, but other than that, I'm proud to be here and proud to have this jacket on. There's two people that I would like to thank, both of which are deceased. Excuse me. Coach Harold Hopperman and Coach Doug Brozak. Without both of them, I wouldn't be here. And I would like to thank them, and of course, Bill Simon, for introducing me. And I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me. So that's about it. Thank you very much.
Bob.
Our next inductee, unfortunately, could not be here this evening, John Martin, but our very own Dick Leland, who is one of our board members, is going to do a quick presentation. It's Mike Gallio. Unfortunately, I don't know Mike, your presenter, so if Mike can come up to the right-hand side, thanks.
I'll just steal a little power here. Yeah.
Set.
Yep.
It's a shame John Martin couldn't be here, excuse me, because he's very deserving. He was a offensive tackle for us at the Green Jackets out of Hudson Falls and Glens Falls. And he played offensive tackle on the Siena Club National Championship undefeated team. He played both ways there. He played pretty much offense for us. But he was a phenomenal guy, very strong. He bench pressed 550 pounds with no steroids and no special weightlifting suit that I guess they have that I don't know anything about. His whole family were Green Jackets. He had two brothers that played, and his mom and dad were both boosters, and they sold tickets, and his father, God rest his soul, helped to line the field, and one time Kurt Leroy and I were trying to move this big barrel with cement in it that they used to put a standard in to put the restraining ropes around the field at Derby Park. And the two of us couldn't move it, and his father came along, picked it up and carried it off. He was unbelievable. His brother Tom weighed over 300 pounds. Jimmy weighed a good 250, and they called the three of them the Ton Smoke. But John was all Empire Football League almost every year he played. And Dave Birch tells a story about it one time. He doesn't know what happened, must have been a forearm, but Dave was woozy and his face mask was askew, and he got off on the sidelines and found out his helmet was cracked, which sounds like something that John could do. He loved to run the ball, and he hated it when somebody threw an interception. Every time somebody threw an interception, he'd say, "Run the damn ball!" And he could block. I remember one time against Troy, somebody intercepted a pass, and they were streaking down the sidelines. It looked like they were going to score, and John caught him from behind, and boom, hit him with both fists on the shoulders and drove the guy right in the ground. He also drove a bus. Joe Romeo used to be our treasurer, and he ran Glen Ford, and he bought a used prison bus from Comstock. It was an ugly thing with that awful olive green color. But John used to drive the team on the bus because he had a Class II license, so he was very versatile. I know one time he got his fingers stepped on, and they were all bloody, and a couple of them were broken, and he went to the doctor, and he said, "Doc, will I be able to play the piano?" And the doctor said, "Yeah, in a few weeks." And John said, "That's wonderful, I never could before." But I encourage you all to keep coming, pay your dues. It's good to see some people back here that were here last year, but we got to have you pay your dues and get involved to keep this thing going. And God bless Ron Reel. Thank you.
And again, congratulations to John Martin. We do wish he could have been here, but we know he's here in spirit anyway. Mike Elio, you're up along with your presenters, and on deck is going to be Charles Pugh. And unfortunately, Charles, I don't know who your presenter is, but I'm assuming you do. So come on up over to the right-hand side. Gentlemen, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Lally. Hall of Famers, how are we doing tonight? All of you. We have had the advantage of playing the greatest sport created by man. And along with that, we have the honor to meet many a man that we consider teammates and friends. The gentleman tonight, Mike Gallio, I met in 1977. Mike already had 5-6 years of semi-pro experience under his belt. But what Mike brought to all of us was a man that gave leadership without really standing up there pounding his chest. We had problems in the game, he gave us answers. Something wasn't working well, he told us why. And because of that, I am lucky to say over the years that I played with him and now coaching against him, which makes it real interesting, that I have a good friend. And I only can say that I'm blessed for having this acquaintance over 30+ years of football. And Lolly, on that, I'm done talking.
Good evening. I love semi-pro football. I love the AFA, and I love the Hall of Fame. And everybody in here shares that together. And the reason why I'm here tonight, I had a teammate in 1971 for 4 years, that was Mike Gallio. I coached him for 6 years. He has continued to be involved in the community, in semi-pro football, through his whole career. He's still coaching semi-pro football. He's not only a gentleman, he exemplifies the fact of semi-pro football and proud. And speaking of proud, I am very proud to welcome Mike Gallio to the Hall of Fame in 2013.
Try to keep this as brief as possible. Quite an honor, quite an honor. I'd like to thank Dave Birch and the American Football Association board members for my selection into the Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank Dave Fleck and Tom Manning for my nomination. If I had to thank all the people that supported me along the way, I'd be here longer than my 13-year playing career. But I do want to talk about a few individuals who stand out in my memory. A big part of me reaching this hall today was played by my teammates and the organizations I played for and coached for along the way. Two friends and teammates, Dave Fleck and Tom Manning, with whom I once again team up with in this Hall of Fame, led by example and inspirational play. As I played this game, there were special people who, through their support, made it possible for me to be successful on the field as well as off the field. There was my first Pop Warner coach, the late Dick Senecal, who 10 years later would be my first coach at the semi-pro level. And I'd like to thank teammates and friends, Mike Robichek, Mike Myers, and Mike Carnevale for their support and recognizing the many contributions my family and I have made to this great sport. And I'd also, and most of all, I count the blessings of my family. Imagine how lucky I am today to have the man I so admire, my dad. Always alongside of him was my mom. To both my parents, it's so hard to find the words to thank you enough, except I love you too. To my three children, Sherry, Christine, and Dana, I am so proud of today. They not only gave me a whole understanding of life, but they also continue to bring me pride as they grow and meet life's challenges. Next is the love of my life. She didn't know anything about football when I first met her, but she learned, stood by me, and supported me through the years together. Susan, I hope you know how much I appreciate your love and always being there for me. If I could get some assistance from my first water boy in delivering this token of my appreciation, my brother Joe. My life in football has been one giant blessing. I've realized that the secret to life is life. Games were and are important, but people and how they impact on them are most important. Although my dreams of playing in the NFL fell short, as I approach nearly 30 years of coaching at the high school, semi-pro, and college level, I feel blessed to be able to pass on to the young players today the knowledge and skills required in order for them to achieve their dreams. Thank you very much.
Mike, we're going to get pictures over on the right side here. So if you want to come around, or Next presenter is Dave, and he's going to be presenting our next inductee, Charles Pugh. On deck is going to be Brian Jensen with his presenter, Phil Mitchell. So come on up, Dave.
Well, here we are again tonight, guys. This makes about 8 or 9 for me to talk to you guys. But tonight I'm here to introduce a best friend of mine, former Chambersburg Cardinal, Charlie Pugh. I told Charlie years ago that the guys that you play ball with will be the guys that say you're a great ball player. But when you become an AFA Hall of Famer, it will be the guys that you played against are the ones that are going to put you here. So I'm not much of a speaker, so without further ado, I'm going to present my friend, Mr. Charlie Pugh.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Dave Bonzel for that introduction. And I would like to thank the American Football Association. This is truly an honor. And thanks to my wife, Mary Lou, we will be celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary on Sunday. In 1971, during football season, I lost my driver's license because of driving too fast. And wondering how I was going to get to practice, my mom and dad agreed to take me to practice in his 51 Chevy pickup truck. And it seems like my dad was always trying to teach me a lesson. So he made me ride in the back with full gear on and with my helmet on. And when we got to practice, a lot of the guys there thought it looked like a cattle truck just drove in. My mom and dad became true Chambersburg Cardinal fans, always going to the games no matter if they were home or away. They have since passed on and they are sadly missed. I would like to also thank the former players of the Chambersburg Cardinal team and those players that came to Chambersburg from other cities to play. They made me a better football player. Some are already in the Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame. I wasn't the fastest player. I didn't stick my, now, the guys from Chambersburg will understand this. I didn't stick my head in a bucket of ice water. I didn't do backflips or dance with the cheerleaders on the sidelines. But I did play the game of football the best that I could, and I loved it. Just some memorable moments: trips to Hartford, Connecticut, Columbus, Ohio, Long Island, Clarksburg, West Virginia, games in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia, box lunches, team meetings, bus rides, running off the field in Binghamton, New York because of a lightning storm, playing in a downpour. You couldn't even see the other side of the field in Hanover, Pennsylvania, flooded locker rooms in Baltimore and Philly. But this is all part of semi-pro football experience. Once again, to the American Football Association, thank you.
Charlie, there's a little something for you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Four more. We're doing real well. The next presenter is Phil Mitchell from Wisconsin, and he'll be introducing Brian Jensen. And then on deck will be Chuck Mallory. Unfortunately, Chuck, I don't have your presenter, but hopefully you know who they are. So, Phil, come on up.
Today I got the distinct honor of introducing two of my teammates. First is Brian Jansen, and Brian's career started in Kenosha. He played at Kenosha Tremper, and then he went on to the University of Wisconsin to play in the Big Ten, and then an injury and some other things caught his NFL career short. When you talk about Brian Jansen, you think of one word, you think of excellence. Excellence not only in a teammate and his character and the person that he is, excellence as a father and a husband, excellent as a guy who is a vice president of the bank, make sure he does the right things, otherwise I'm sure he'd be out of a job. But the way we're honor him today is excellence for the way he played offensive tackle for so many years with the Racine Raiders. When you think of an offensive tackle or lineman, you look at his characteristics. What did he have? He had great hip speed. Hip speed in order to be able to cut off a defensive tackle or defensive end's outside rush. Great hand speed to be able to hold on to a guy on a pass rush. He has great form blocking. Came off the ball tremendously. A person who's 6'7" is hard to come by that could move like Brian Jansen. So his characteristics will always be something the Racine Raiders always have treasured and honored. It's my honor to introduce to you Brian Jansen, 2013 inductee.
Phil doesn't know, but I never held as an offensive lineman. It's an honor to be here this evening. There's a few people I do want to thank. I do want to thank the AFA, Dave, the committee for considering and inducting me. I want to thank the Racine Raider organization. This is an organization that's been around a long time, gave me the opportunity to play football after college. I want to thank the fans of the Racine. We have the best fans ever in Racine at the old Horlick Field. I also want to thank my wife and my kids, my wife did get to see me play a little bit. She's glad I did retire. My children, unfortunately, did not, so it's a pleasure and it's an honor to have them here tonight. But I also want to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. It's because of him that I was given many years of football. And football taught me a lot about life, and I'm just going to share this with you. I had a coach, Dave McLean, who died at 48 years of age, head coach at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I spent the last night of his life with him. And as a freshman, he said to us, men, you need to put your God first, your family second, your schoolwork third, and your football fourth. And when those things get out of order, your life is going to be screwed up. And it happened. I screwed up. I got those priorities out of order. But he also said this, you're going to learn things on this football field that you'll carry with you the rest of your life. And then I have. Through football, I've learned to become a dad, a husband, fellow worker, and it's taught me a lot of things that nothing could teach anybody. And it's an honor to be standing here tonight. It's also taught me to deal with a situation right now. I have a father that is a quadriplegic, fell October 7th, and life is slowly being drained from him. His sparkle in his eye is gone. The smiles are no longer there. But we had an opportunity to spend a couple of minutes with him about a week ago, and my wife read the article to him about me being inducted into the Hall of Fame. The sparkle came back. The smile came on his face. And I knew then that football was everything to me. Once again, I want to thank the AFA for inducting me. Phil, I want to thank you for nominating me, and God bless you all. Up there.
Chuck Ballery is coming up next, along with his presenter, and then on deck is Steve Denton, the inductee, and his presenter will be Stan Alspak. So, come on up, gentlemen.
I'm presenting Chuck Malloy. I've heard a lot of numbers of years that they've known this person for a while. While I've been sitting here. Well, I've known Chuck for 76 years. Chuck played semi-pro football with the Dayton Triangles and the Dayton Colts for 11 years. He was an all-time rushing ground gainer and captain of the teams. He played in 4 all-star games. After he retired from football, his jersey number 13 was also retired. This was the only number to be retired from the Dayton Colts, the Dayton Triangles and the Dayton Colts. He played with the Dayton Triangles in the years 53 through 56. He then went on to play with the University of Dayton in 57, 1958, and 1959. After that, he played with the Dayton Colts in 1960 through the next 7 years. He officially retired from football in 1967. Brother Chuck, I'm proud of you and your accomplishments. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to congratulate all the inductees. Oh, what an honor. My birthday falls on November the 1st. My mom started me when I was 5 years old in the first grade. After that, what that meant was that I graduated from high school at the age of 16, played football as a senior, and graduated at 17. I always wondered, well, what could I possibly have done if I'd have played 2 or 3 more years of high school football? So after that, I was offered a scholarship to West Virginia, small school in West Virginia, not West Virginia University, and I turned it down. I went to work at NCR, a company in Dayton, Ohio, National Cash Register, and I was still 17, started out as a messenger boy. And it was a good job. I liked it, but when I got to be 18, all the guys that I worked with and people I met in a job said, you got to get on a machine. Work it, man. You know, you get in the factory, you're 18, you make a lot of money. Next thing I know, I'm standing at a machine with goggles on, I'm going, and I'm like, ooh, I don't think I can do this till I'm 65. So I'd saved up some money. I went to Miami University, and money started running out. So in the spring of that year, that was the year Ara Parsegan moved on to the Big Ten, and John Pont was the head coach. And after that 20 days of practice, John called me into his office and he says, Chuck, I'm out of scholarships, but if you can pay for one more semester, I got a full ride for you. I'm like, the well's dry, John, I ain't got no money. And so I went to the University of Dayton, and Coach Bud Kerr was head coach there at the time, and he says, I firmly believe to this day that the only reason that Bud Kerr gave me a scholarship is because he knew that John Pont was going to give me one had he had one. So that's how I happened to get to the University of Dayton and had a good life there. And the only other thing I would like to say in closing is that I have 3 ladies with us tonight. One is my sister Jenny, my daughter or my sister-in-law Ann, and my beautiful wife Linda. If you ladies would stand, I'd appreciate it. I don't know if I went on for the next 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, I could top that, but them 3 ladies, they make my life. Thank you. And congratulations to all of them.
Chuck, congratulations. Very nice. Next up is our presenter, Stan Oshpak, and the inductee is going to be Stan Denton. And then on deck will be Wilbur Kennedy, and Phil Micka is going to be back up here presenting.
First off, I'd like to thank the Ron Real family, and Ron especially, if he was here today, he'd just be overwhelmed with how this organization has blossomed. I was fortunate to be inducted in 1991. Tony DeRazio was with me down in Orlando, Florida. We had a great time, and he's got several teammates have been there. We're both quarterbacks, and the reason we were good quarterbacks because we had receivers, and I had a core of receivers unbelievable, and I had an offensive line that really gave me protection. I put a film together of Bucky. I figure words speak louder than, actions speak louder than words, so let's just watch and enjoy. Bucky is number 85. You'll see him blocking. You'll see him catching. Sometimes I don't hit him, but he tries to catch the ball, like on that one. He was the holder. He could play any position. I know there's a couple Chicago Lions in here that went to Europe with us. This is from Europe. He was our backup quarterback. I was the only official quarterback on the team, so thankfully for Jerry Petch, who's with us tonight, was one of our offensive linemen. I think I only got sacked about 3 times. I did, however, throw some interceptions, but they will not be on this film.
If you have served this nation in the uniform of the armed forces, and if you have family members that have served, please rise. Please. Thank you. Well done. Thanks. Do I need to stand behind this? There's a gentleman living down in Peoria, Illinois, Arizona, which is Phoenix. He's 85 years old, World War II and Korea vet. He's going through a change in his life, as they do. He's surrounded with family and friends. My blessing to me, my wife is sitting with him. My dad is a good guy. Because of some wonderful gift and grace of Jesus Christ, I got some decent genes, and I try to do something with them. Because of his service to the nation, and because of what we have done, do swear to defend the Constitution of the United States. That's you and family. I'm here to say thank you for being here and putting this evening together. To my teammates, both Stan and Jerry, representing those who have passed before us and those that are still alive, my joy is my teammates. For those men and women that I've gone down range with over a long, long journey of service to our nation. Because of you, you are blessing them and their families. You are touching more people than what you will ever hear from. But in the name of Jesus Christ, have faith. You will hear about it in your sleep. Your children and your grandchildren will know of no other time and place than tonight, that you cared and loved so much, to have given so much, that you might never ever think you're going to get back in your life. And I'm telling you that you will, because of what you have done to help secure home while we've been gone, to keep the lights on so we would know where to come home to, and have faith in what the Lord has given to us with our nation. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Congratulations, Steve. Saving the best for last, this will be the last induction of this set. Our presenter is going to be Phil Micah again, who is up here already, and the inductee will be Wilbur Kennedy. And this is a player as a referee. I had so many holding calls on this guy, I decided to have his name embroidered on the flag. So let's see what he says about it when he comes up for his introduction. Phil, come on up.
Craig, you're talking about offensive tackles holding me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, come on. Bob Milkey and Tony Lombardo nominated Will, and unfortunately couldn't be here, so I've got a couple paragraphs to read from them, but first, I just thought I'd throw a little bit in there. I don't have the serious side to Wilbur Kennedy. I think the first thing you do is when you look at Wilbur Kennedy is, can the guy ever stop smiling? He's a captain? What are you? Who?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. He probably stops people pulling them over, going 50, smiling at them. I remember Wilbur Kennedy during the middle of a game playing a two-eye technique and just kind of holding the guy up. I think he was reading a book and laughing. Are you trying to block me? I can remember Jordan Kopac's having an ends wide, Brian Jansen a tackle. We put the end out in a wide 6 and just try to rush as fast as possible. And not enough defensive ends, so here comes Wilbur Kennedy. Oh boy. So you get a guy that's 360 pounds rushing at an outside like that, he's got to be scared. But the most famous part that I can say in all my years in playing Wilbur Kennedy was when we were playing down in Illinois, and both of us had great pass rushes. And the quarterback, being smart, decides to step up. What happens? Wilbur and I hit. I had a concussion. So with that, I'm going to read this real quick note from Bob Milkey, and then bring Will up. When I think of Wilbur Kennedy, the words that come to mind are integrity, sacrifice, friend, motivator, self-confidence, loyalty, commitment, family, 2-ton goal line offense. I don't know if you know what that means. We put Wilbur at fullback and let people try to tackle him. Pride and legend. Wilbur was one of the most coachable players I've ever had the privilege of coaching. He would say, don't tell me what I did right. I already know that. Tell me what I did wrong so I can improve myself. Wilbur exemplified what Racine Raiders are all about, which is more than just a football team or an individual player. Wilbur was deeply involved with the Racine community and was always there when you needed him on or off the field. Wilbert's one of the greatest defensive players ever to play for the Racine Raiders, and only one of 10 retired numbers, number 55, in the 60-year history of the club. Everybody has a special place on their mantle for special people. Wilbert, you have left your footprints in the sands of time. I love you like a son. Congratulations, Coach Milkey. With that, I want to bring up 2013 inductee Wilbert Kennedy.
One thing Phil left out was that that hit that he referred to, yeah, he may have had a concussion, but he left out, I was walking towards the wrong bench, so I don't know who took the worst of that hit. I would have to say myself. I would like to thank the AFA president and the board for selecting me as a member of this family. First of all, I want to thank my mother, my biggest fan. She traveled all over the country to watch me play. She would drive 6-7 hours one way to watch me play in college and turn around and come right back home. I want to thank my daughter. She came a little bit later in the picture. I was kind of hoping to play long enough to let her see me play. I probably played long enough for several grandchildren to grow up as long as I was out there. Also, I would like to thank my father, who passed 15 years ago. He was my guy. Some of the guys, maybe from Palos, might remember him. He would always stand down at the end of the stadium underneath the scoreboard in Racine, and he would give every player the business as they were walking off the field. And they would get into it pretty well, and then they realized who he was, and they knew he was just joking, but that's how my father was. I want to thank the Racine Raider organization, first and foremost Bob Milkey, who gave me my opportunity in 1989. Yeah, 1989. I'm getting old, I'm trying to remember this stuff. he just told me to be patient and my time will come. And along with that, I'd like to thank Coach Kopak, who gave me my first opportunity in '90. He believed enough in me to give me a chance to actually play on a full-time basis. So I want to thank you very much, Coach, for everything you've done for me also. I've been truly blessed to be with probably, in my opinion, the greatest organization in semi-pro football. I've been around a long time. We have a lot of wonderful volunteers, great fan base. We get thousands of people that come to the games. And the one thing that we always realized, it was all about the kids. One of the really cool things is the children would come on the field and they get to come right up next to football players and get pictures and sign, have you sign their signature form, and you never get that at an NFL game. I did get in trouble because I used to grab kids out of the stands during a game. I'd bring them on the sideline, and they finally caught me and they put a halt to that. But I just want to thank everybody in Racine for everything that they've done for me, for my family. I want to thank my teammates. They made this game so much easier. And even my introduction of Frank Battaglio, when I head slapped him the first time I seen him playing on a rival team. So, but thank you very much. The game we all loved, and thank God that we have semi-pro, that we have actually had the chance to play a little bit longer in life, okay? Thank you.
Oh, awesome. This is mine too.
Let me express my thanks for the wonderful, wonderful job you all have done in being silent. The 8 or 9 of these that I have been part of, this probably has been the best group in terms of showing your respect to not only the presenters but the inductees. And we're doing real well on time, by the way. It took about 50 minutes to induct 10 of our members, which is absolutely wonderful. So, but just before we split for the room, let's just have those 10 inductees stand up so we can applaud them one more time for their wonderful accomplishments. All right. Since we're doing so well on time, why don't we go ahead and take just a 10-minute break. Ray is back there with 50-50 tickets. Sports memorabilia will end now, so we're going to give you a chance to get out there and bid on your last items, and then we'll come back in here and announce those. And then don't forget the apparel as well. All right, this is your 2-minute warning for any last sports and celebrity memorabilia. So you can kind of mingle on back, get your last refreshment if you'd like, stretch your legs. And certainly no more than 2 or 3 minutes, we'll get our program started again. Dave, is there anything else you wanted to announce or recommend? I'm going to talk about the internet broadcast. Just 50-50 tickets if anybody wants any more.
For the internet broadcast, you got 400, 500, yeah, that number. Yeah, just say that, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
And then we thought we would, which I thought was clever on Roger's part, I said, if we're going to wait on the 50-50 until the absolute end, this place is going to be empty. So she suggested we do it before the last 10th or the 20th introduction. I thought that was perfect. Perfect time. So as long as Chuck Robinson doesn't mind.
And that video, Bucky, Stan has put just about all of them up on YouTube when they were in Europe.
Oh, wow.
So folks will be able to see that. the next 2 weeks. They're going to be archived up at Raffle.
Oh, jeez.
Okay? So he's going to keep adding to it.
Adding to it.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
All right, so we'll just tell them that. That's it. Okay.
50/50 is a little over 900 right now.
That's more than last year.
So if you want to make an announcement right before, then we'll do it again, you know.
This is also your one of your last chances for the 50-50, because what we're going to do, have decided to do on the 50-50 is give the winning, or pick the winning ticket before the last presenter. So we're looking at it. So it's going to be sort of hard to buy any tickets once we start our program now in the next few minutes. So Ray, if you kind of stick around, if there's anybody else who would like a ticket, and just to give you an idea, we told you last year the winning ticket got $400 because we collected $800. We're already over $900 for this one. So your winning ticket is going to be $450 at the minimum. So congratulations, whoever's going to win is going to take me to dinner. I mean, take us to dinner. So if you win any last minute tickets, Ray is over here on your right. And let's go ahead and close up. Hey, Cheryl, can you see if there's anybody in the hall there? And if so, can you kind of let them know we're ready to start our program again? Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Walter Payton's pretty good, too.
Oh, Walter Payton.
Well, both of them, though. I mean, Jim Brown, Walter Payton.
Can you imagine if they played
Oh. Unbelievable.
As kids, we watched it in black and white.
I know. Now I know how old you are. Trying to get a starting bid on that little chair. You have any idea? $100. Okay, I just didn't want to go too high. If you would sell it for 50. No, sell it. Oh, sorry, I'll start at 50 and go up in increments of 10. Okay. Sorry, ladies. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and start now. And what we're going to do is, just as people are kind of filtering back into the room, just to let you know, the internet broadcast that Dave introduced in the beginning of our program, which Steve nicely came up to us a few minutes ago, we have, as of right now, about 700, Steve, internet viewers watching this function tonight. Isn't that incredible? 700, that is outstanding. And we think we're going to get more as the night goes on. We already talked about the 50-50. This is the last chance probably really to get your tickets, because once we start our program, it's going to go pretty quickly from that point on. The sports and celebrity memorabilia is now closed. They're going to bring up those that actually have bid on something, and I'll try to make an announcement before we start the next set of presenters, just so you have an idea if you're one of the lucky bidders. And then lastly, we have 2 items that we would like to live auction. And typically the way we work this is that if an item is given to us that is really unique, really different, that you really couldn't go out and buy anywhere else. We think that's worthy of a live auction as opposed to the silent auction where you just write your name on a sheet. So we have two items. The first item we're going to auction off is one of the signed footballs by all the new inductees. And we think this is a very nice item considering it's all been signed. And we'll probably start the bidding at about $25. We'll go up in increments of $10 each. We'll go pretty quickly because again, we don't want to take a lot of time away from the other auction item, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. And then, of course, we want to get into our presentation. So with that, a signed autograph by all the new inductees, ready to go at $25, and we'll go up in increments of 10. So who can be $25, $35, $35? You got $25, $35, $35. Looking for $35, $35, $45, $45, $45. $45, looking for $45, $45, $45. We have. Do you have something else that you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. So we're going to start.
All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start with our next wonderful set of inductees. Oh, the silent auction. Thank you very much. Okay. Just quickly, for those of you that put in bids for the silent auction, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Tays, and by the way, they had a great parade in Chicago today, I understand. A couple million people. Just unbelievable. That goes to Sim Hendrickson. I think of the Travelers, isn't he, Sim? Okay, congratulations. Brett, you got the Ernie Banks bat, which I know you wanted. Phil Mickelson went to Amy Duggan. Congratulations. John Safaris, you got the Tom Brady. Congratulations on that. I'm gonna beat this name up. Jerry Patash got the Jonathan Tays autographed jersey. Jerry in the room? Thank you very much. Hope I didn't beat your last name up too much. Sorry about that. I've always said just get it right on the paycheck. They can call you anything they want. Just get it right on the check. The Patrick Kane, boy, a lot of Hawk stuff, huh? Patrick Kane goes to Jerry. I hope you, well, I'm glad you're not from Boston. Gail Sayers goes to Lynn Cardrack, congratulations. Great. And by the way, you guys can just pay out at the desk by the apparel. You can just give them a check, credit card, whatever you'd like. Sim, boy, you must be a big Hawk fan. You got the Patrick Kane, Jonathan Tays, Patrick Sharp, and Keith Duncan Keith signed photo. So congratulations. The Mike Ditka poster, Brett, you got that, buddy. Mike Ditka in his famous pose with the one finger up, and he's not meaning you're number one either. And the last one, hey Brett, did you bring your credit card too? Because you got the Aaron Rodgers ball as well. So congratulations to all the guys that won all the sports memorabilia. All righty. Once again, if we can just keep your conversations to a minimum, we're doing real good on time. Again, thank you very much for your respect for all the presenters and inductees. You were absolutely wonderful. It took us about 50 minutes for the last 10. If we can keep it to about the same this time, we're going to be out of here at about 10:30ish. Just to give you an idea, when I was inducted in 2003, we got out at 12:15. Now I realize we had 30 inductees, but that's just way too long. So we think if we can get you out at 10:30ish, for you to be able to spend the rest of the evening with family and friends at your favorite local watering hole or back at the hotel or the restaurant, we think that'll be a lot of fun as well. So anyway, enough said. George Capaneas, you'll be up with your presenter, and unfortunately I don't know your presenters. I hope I didn't butcher your name up too much either. Your presenter, and then Ken Poole. And it looks like Ethan is going to be your presenter. And so Ken and Ethan will be on deck. So, gentlemen, come on up.
So, my name is actually Michael Capellas, and I'm George's brother, and I do want it duly noted that he is my older brother. And so I have the privilege, and there's a little background here. George played for the Cleveland Falcons from 1976 to 1989. After going to college at Ohio Northern, played also at Warren Harding. For those of you who are from the area here, might have had a game or two out here. And what is, as I was trying to come up with what to talk about, you know, his semi-pro career, which I obviously didn't participate in, I thought the best possible way to kind of tell the story of the player and the guy is to actually ask his teammates. And as an astounding tribute to who he is, a great number of them are sitting over here. And their comments were actually quite stunning when I heard them. Comments like, these are direct quotes, "Here's a guy who was always in the game. Most fundamentally sound player I ever met. Knew the game, played it out in his head before the game started. And not only did he know what position he should be in, he knew what position everybody else would be in. And there's one thing, and I was his teammate for a very short time. In addition to all that, the one thing I can tell you, he's a pretty small guy, but this guy could just flat out hit you. And you know it. But I don't think that really tells the story of who George was as a player. To a person, whoever I called instantaneously returned the call and said, not only was this guy a great player, he was a great man. When they needed to be intense, he was intense. When they needed to be loose, he was loose. Some of the stories I heard about what he said in the locker room shall be shared because they are not for mixed company, but he did have his way of keeping everybody loose, and in fact, a leader off the field, a leader on the field. And what's astounding, this is a guy of football is a game made for people with character. To whether you played with him, whether you played against him, or whether you played alongside of him, this is a guy of great character, of great courage, and great heart. I got a quote that was sent over tonight from San Francisco from a former coach, Tom Bada, who called me last night, and he said, I've had a chance with the Vikings and the 49ers to put some great players in games. He said, but I never put a player in who had more heart. And I think that's the story of George. With great honor, my brother, George Capellas.
Hey. You know, I must have wrote this speech about 9 or 10 times and just never kind of came out sitting there talking to the folks that made me as good as I am, the Falcons that are sitting there at those tables. They said, you got to speak from the heart. And I'm going to do that. Put the paper away, try to speak from the heart for you for a little bit. First of all, special thanks to my two lovely, beautiful daughters who blew off the Rascal Flatts concert tonight to come here and share this moment with me. And finally, you know, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for this guy standing right next to me. He's always there when I needed him. He's been an inspiration to me. He's been a mentor. And as luck would have it, he's been a training partner for me all my life. So thanks, Mike. I'm privileged that you're here today. Final thanks. Tony DeRazio called me on the phone, and we went to college together, which is a whole nother story, which probably for a different time. But anyway, we spent some time and played 4 years of ball in college. He came to Cleveland, worked for the Falcons, or played for the Falcons. He called me on the phone and says, hey, you want to play football? I said, I'd love to. He introduced me to the 40 greatest men I have ever been associated with in my entire life. For me to be honored here today as an inductee in the Hall of Fame, I'm humbled. It's the Falcons that all should be here today to be in the Hall of Fame. Without them, I certainly wouldn't be here. As evidence, Tricky is here tonight to share this with me. Thank you, Tricky, Paul, Donnie, Dennis, Bucky, Tony DeRazio, who I've known since 1972. And two final people that I really want to, Dale is here as well, I'm sorry. It was an honor for me to be part of the Falcons, but Carl Palacina and Johnny Company made me a better football player and made me a better person for giving me the privilege to play not only on the same team with them, but next to them as well. Thank you. I'm honored tonight.
Congratulations, George.
Thank you.
Nice job. Ethan Poole will be presenting, I'm assuming a brother, perhaps? That's my son. That's your son? Jeez. He will be presenting his dad, Ken Poole, and on deck will be Kevin Harding will be presenting Mark Harding.
Gentlemen, come on up.
Hello. I'm grateful to be here to introduce my father, Coach Kenneth or Skip Poole. Like any successful person in any industry, he constantly strove to take his new role into heart. And throughout his career as coaching for the past 16 years, he strived to improve himself and those around him in every way possible. But it was more than that. His true success came not from his improvements or his abilities. It was through his relationships. He's one of those coaches that we've all had who left a lasting impression on us. I only got to play with him for 2 years, but throughout the past 15 years, I've been impressed and amazed by the plethora of athletes at every level, whether it be international, professional, or AFA, who have called him not only coach, but father and mentor. So I know just a few months ago I had the opportunity to witness my dad's last game in his final season before retiring. Of course, this will be his 4th retirement, so we'll see if that lasts. But I was astonished at the amount of the respect that these grown, tough AFA athletes had for him. They were more upset about not being able to spend next week with him than about the season-ending defeat. So to wrap this up, my dad, like many of you I'm sure, is obsessed with football quotes. So I want to bring this to his attention. A good coach will win games. A great coach will win championships. But a true coach will win hearts. With that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce my father, Coach Skip Poole.
Good evening. That was my legacy. All through my life, my biggest fear in life is to be forgotten. I think that's a legitimate fear for most people who do spend most of their lives in football. But with a legacy like that, I'm not worried. And with the legacy with the AFA being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it's a great time in my life. As far as football is concerned, it has been my life. I did notice on the website that the AFA is paying a lot of attention to concussions and about the welfare of the players. Well, I started my career as a player in 1972. I retired in 2002 at the young age of 44 with the Florida Barracudas. I have been diagnosed with Parkinson's syndrome. It's a very difficult time in my life. I have a hard time communicating with my players as I used to, but it's a never-ending battle, and so we do need to pay attention to that. But I would not change a thing. If I had it all to live over again, I would do the same thing. I would like to thank my Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ, and I would like to thank my son and my wife who has been with me by my side. She's never been behind. She's never in front. She's always by my side. I was blessed to be able to go overseas and coach this great game. And there's an old adage that says to be successful, for any coach to be successful, you got to have a faithful wife, a loyal dog, and a great quarterback. Well, in 2010, I had 2 of the 3. I had a very faithful wife. I had a cat who thinks he's a dog, but I did have a great quarterback, a 6'8", 250-pound Polish man named Chris Wydrowski. And I was over in Poland, in Wrocław, Poland, and we won the national championship in Division I. And it was just a fantastic time. I do want to tell you that I've been over there twice. It is a great, great place to visit. I certainly wouldn't want to stay there, but it's been a great adventure for me and for all those that think this country here that we live in is on the down or on the outs. I suggest you go abroad, and I suggest you see what they live with. We still have a lot of hope here, and we need to maintain it. And I thank you very much for having me, and bless you all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ken. Our next presenter is Kevin Harding, who will be introducing his brother, Mark. And then on deck will be Dave Strolak. And I don't know, Dave, you're a presenter. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank everyone I'd like to congratulate all the AFA 2013 inductees. To start off, I'm going to introduce my brother. When I found out that he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, I said, this is something that you can't miss. You got to get here. You know, it's a special time of your life. You know, you accomplished a lot playing football. While we're driving down here, he tells me I have to present him because my presenter isn't going to be here. I said, well, I think I can handle that. We'll figure it out. We'll get it done for you. He's played several years of football. It's been his life. It's what he does. He coaches. He does all this stuff. I'm proud of him. And my brother, Mark Harding.
Good evening. First thing I want to change, Dave has me down as a coach. I'm going in as a player. Okay, I just want to clarify that part right now. Okay, so I have a lot of other players that I played with, and I played on a championship team. There's quite a few members of my team that are in the Hall of Fame. So the first person I want to thank is Jay McGee. If it wasn't for Jay, I wouldn't be here. Like my profile and stuff says, I met him in a park, sitting there with a friend. We need somebody to play a pickup game. I said, okay. After we finished, he came up and said, hey, how about playing semi-pro football? Never heard anything about it. Played a little bit in the military and stuff like that. Went out there, had a ball. I met friends that I've known for 20, 30 years, who to this day, if I picked up the phone and said I need, they're there. I played for the Randolph Oilers in Randolph, Massachusetts. I want to thank my owner, Peter O'Kane, for giving me the opportunity to play, my head coach, Bob Turner, for putting up with me for the 7 to 10 years that I played, also my receiver coach. The late Ron Reel. I met Ron in 1991 when I played in the AFA. I played for the AFA All-Stars. And I got the opportunity to sit and talk with him. He was an amazing man, amazing man. You know, I played in a game, I was the only receiver that went without a quarterback. So he was one of the people who said, you know what, just go out, do your best. They tried to convince the coach to play me. The coach wouldn't play me. I got one play. I took a slant for 65 yards. I came off the field. Coach said, you want to go back in? I said, no, I'm all set, okay? I did my job, okay? You know, you didn't want to play me before. Don't try to make up for it now. You're lost, okay? To Dave Burke, thank you. Thank you very much, okay? Without this man, I wouldn't be here. He gave me that phone call when he said I was nominated. I know that there are a lot of people that don't get in their first try, so I was kind of nervous. To my friends, my family, to my mother, who, just like my coach, put up with a lot of stuff from me. I wasn't a practice player, but when the lights went on, I was Deion Sanders. And that's just it. I could hear her above everybody in the stands. Didn't matter how many people were in there, I could hear her concentrate, 2 hands on the ball. And after a while, like if you listen to film and you hear her, coaches are like, do we need to bring her down to the sideline? I'm like, no, leave her up there. You can hear her from up there, she'll help you out. To my brother Kevin, he's been there throughout my whole career. When I didn't have a ride to practice, take my car. When I didn't feel like going to practice, you better get your butt to practice. To my team, I own a team in Eastern Football League, the Granite State Knights. To my guys, I want to tell them, when you work hard and you respect this game, this is where you end up. To this group, the people sitting in this room, I'm glad to be a part of this fraternity. I now have more brothers, fathers, cousins. We're all now related. We're all one. Thank you very much. Mark, did you get a pen? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, thank you.
All right, our next inductee is Dave Sherlock. Dave, I don't know your presenter's name, but come on up anyway. And then on deck will be Daryl Duggar.
I'll paraphrase the best I can. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are amidst greatness. The men being honored here are superb athletes, some of them outright genetic freaks. There is amazing skill, ability, and athleticism common to all of them. But more impressive than all of that, all of the things backed by and proven by statistics, is incredible desire and pure love of football. I watched my brother live it and love it. From Pop Warner through high school, a great college career at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, and a year spent in Barcelona, Spain, playing for the L'Hospitalet Pioners. That's the extent of my Spanish. As I'm sure it was for all the other guys here, there was still an intense desire to keep playing. I, for one, was glad when he got involved with the Force of Illinois. I told David a long time ago I absolutely loved watching him play, and when college was over, I still wanted more. I still wanted more. Achieving what he did and ultimately ending up here is only a small part of who this guy really is. When you play purely for the love of the game, you still have to take care of life's responsibilities. My guess is that there are many similar stories. Practice when you can. Find your own way to the games. Heal on your own. This was likely all secondary stuff because there was a job to go to, kids to raise, and bills to pay, among other things. What I find so remarkable about my brother is that while he was creating a football legacy, he was also helping his beautiful wife, Donna, raise 4 absolutely amazing children, while doggedly pursuing a career in the business world, successfully, of course. Every now and again, we even found some time to catch a little bass. If David is your advocate, there is little to be concerned with. He has a way of always making those around him feel like all will be good, no matter the odds. This is likely why anyone who played ball with him will tell you he is the finest field general they have ever known. The man never hangs his head, not even in defeat. He still loves the game. He is the offensive coordinator for the Frankfurt Falcons Pop Warner football team. And they may not know it now, but the boys learning from him are some of the luckiest around, especially his 2 sons. And I have no doubt that they will look back one day and realize what a treasure they had in Coach David Stolaric. People have used words such as integrity, leadership, honesty, and tenacity to describe my brother in many different areas of his life. All are accurate. The word to me that seems to prevail above all others, though, is humility. He is admired, adored sometimes, I hope, praised, honored, and especially loved. Through it all, he has never been anything more than Stu. David never thought of himself as great, which is why he is. He gets it. He gets it all, and he deserves it all. To those who have deemed David worthy of this induction, I say, with all the respect due to the other inductees here tonight, you couldn't possibly have made a more appropriate choice. It's a privilege and the honor of a lifetime to introduce my brother and my best friend, David Anthony Stolaric.
Wow. It's quite an older brother, Mike Stolaric. I actually got sort of my aspirations for football, no doubt from him. I can remember being a little boy out in Mokina, Illinois, or watching the Burros play, and he was Mr. Touchdown, literally named Mr. Touchdown, and I can remember thinking, I just want to be just like him when I grow up. So to hear those words from him is truly humbling. Humbling still is the list of inductees that have gone before me and are coming after me. This is truly humbling. I heard so many stories last night. I got a chance to meet some amazing warriors, and what's more important is these are just incredible men. They're living lives and raising families and going to war and representing our country in ways that no words can describe. So it's truly humbling to be among you. First and foremost, I want to thank my mother and father, Lynn Caddick and her husband George, my dad Dennis Stolaric and his wife Pam. Without your support and love and tutelage, I could have never achieved the things that I have, and certainly you set the course for me to raise an amazing family. My brother Mike, his wife Heather, and their daughter Caitlin, I count them among my greatest blessings. But truly, when I think back to semi-pro, and anybody that's played the game understands that it's the families that support us while we're doing it that really make it happen. It's the girlfriends, the wives, the kids, if you're fortunate enough to play when your kids are there, to keep us all going. My wife Donna was my high school sweetheart. She was with me and watched me play through college and high school. She allowed me to play the game at a semi-pro level. We've been married for 17 years. We've got 4 amazing kids. My oldest boy, Daniel, is now attending my alma mater. He's 16 years old, driving, just a warning to all of you out there on the roads. My oldest daughter, Cassidy, is 13, about to steal the hearts of a lot of young boys. Close behind is my boy, Brennan, who's 9, and my daughter, Savannah, both of which are in the program that I'm coaching now, and I have the opportunity now to see my youngest boy carrying the football and blocking for those behind him. It's truly humbling. Just very quickly, I want to name a couple of guys because I think it's really important. Right now, it's so little about me, and it's about remembering the people that helped me get to be able to stand here. First, my coach from high school, Matt Seffner, a legend in the state of Illinois and high school football, and truly helped me understand what it was all about. Randy Obremt, my college coach, who taught me about watching film and really being a student of the game. Howard Huntington, the owner of the Force of Illinois, who brought me into the program. I spent all 10 years in semi-pro with him and for him. Jerry Groen, also a Hall of Fame member with Howard, one of the greatest coaches, and now I count him among my very best friends on the earth. He kept me going all the time, kept me grounded, and also added a little bit of levity in there as well. And then just very quickly, without an offensive line, I couldn't have done the things that I did as a quarterback. It truly is all about who's blocking for you. Dave Connell, Chris Nelson, Steve Lavelle, Vince Brown, Billy Evers, Will Scott, Andy Cujo, Mike Brennan, Kendrick Williams, just among many, many guys. But those were the mainstays, the guys that were always there. Had amazing backs, some guys that played at a really high level. Antoine Patton, 2-time All Big Ten for the University of Illinois, John Pakeltis, Jeff Mowry, Damani Shakur, Reggie Williams. These were just amazing guys. But there were 2 that stand out because I've lost them in the recent years. Very young men. First was one of my best friends on the field. Took his last breaths in my arms. We buried him in his Force uniform. And to me, that embodied what semi-pro sport is all about. Mike Edgar, my tight end, absolute warrior. And then most recently, we lost a few weeks ago, Bob Stevens, who was one of my offensive linemen. From the very first day I stepped on the field, he called me his brother. He had played for a rival high school. He remembered me, I remembered him, and he said, you know what, we're on the same team now, we'll always be brothers. We had to bury Bob the other day. We had a memorial for him, and a lot of the Force guys showed out. And it was truly a tribute to what this is all about. Died in his sleep. It's the way we should all be able to go. He's 39 years old, way too young. I just want to say thanks to the AFA, Mr. Birch, Mr. Reel before him, and the entire AFA family. It's truly an honor to call you guys my brothers. Thank you so much. Greg, thank you.
Next up is Daryl Duggar and his beautiful-looking presenter. And why do you get lucky to have such a beautiful presenter? Not that you other presenters weren't beautiful, but why are you so lucky? I want an explanation before we start. It's been like that, okay. And then on deck is Marston.
Come on up.
Good evening, everyone. It is with great pleasure and honor to introduce to you one of the 2013 Hall of Fame inductees, my husband, Daryl Duggar. Daryl played with the Virginia Ravens from 1990 until 2007. Daryl played every position on the offensive line, from center, guard, to tackle, and on the defense line, he was excellent at tackle and end. He was an all-Mason-Dixon first team each year he played. He was the 1994 AFA Lineman of the Year. Daryl was not big for a lineman. He was 6'2", 245 or so, but he was very quick and smart as a player. As a left tackle, Daryl was outstanding in protecting the quarterback and really stood out when pulling to lead the Ravens' signature quick pitch move, often blocking the first defensive man to the ground and then blocking for the second defender. There is a game that I will never forget. The Ravens had just scored. Both of the lines are back on their stance, and the quarterback hikes the ball, and you see Daryl run for the end zone. The quarterback executes his throw perfectly in the air, and you realize that it's intended for Daryl. And that ball took forever to get to Daryl. And as the ball was coming down, you could see that Daryl was catching the ball as he was dropping into the one-knee prayer. And he got the ball. So, very good. Daryl never played the game to be the next Hercules. He played for the love of the game, and that love was also off the field with his teammates as well. Some of his closest friends today are still his old teammates, 20-plus years. Daryl is a father to a 23-year-old son, Daryl Jr., and to our 4-year-old daughter, Sophia. He is giving back to the community by coaching the offensive line for Armstrong High School. And as I close, with two famous quotes from Vince Lombardi, this quote will describe Daryl's loyalty and love to Coach Lockhart. It is essential to understand that battles are primarily won in the hearts of men. Men respond to leadership in the most remarkable way, and once you have won his heart, he will follow you anywhere. And this quote will best describe Daryl as a player. If you're lucky enough to find a guy with a lot of head and a lot of heart, he is never going to come off the field second. Congratulations, we love you, and congratulations to all of you.
Wow. That was good. That was good. When I was informed that I was going to be inducted, I wrote out a speech and wrote this out, and I've changed it probably 150 times, and nothing ever just stuck with me other than you got to play this game to know what it feels like. You know, I deal with a lot of guys at home that, you know, they just don't understand it. You can explain it to them all day long, but they don't understand. We play this game for the love. We love this game, absolutely love this game. And I like to thank Coach Lockhart, who he gave me a chance. You know, I I walked out on the field, and he said, son, what you want to play? And I said, well, you know, I had a pretty good arm. I wanted to play quarterback up until I saw the offensive line. I said, no, I'll play the line if you need it. And I started playing offensive line and played in front of a guy. You know, I didn't have any equipment on, and he didn't care. So he came across the line and busted me in the face, and I knew right then, this is a sport for me. This is what I want to play. I want to thank my line, you know, Gary, Charles Allen, Brian Good, James Williams. All these guys were much bigger than me, but I could not let them down. I played so that they would never look at me and tell me I let them down. The Raven family has, like Amy said, has been great. You know, if we're down, we call each other up. You know, if we need something, we call each other up. And it's such a good feeling to be here today. Because since I was a kid, I always thought, what would I say if I got up in front of the podium and give this speech? And today, I can't help but feel love. Love in this room, and love for the guys that's been here, that's done it, and done it before me. And I thank you guys. I thank the AFA. I thank Dave, although he's at a rival school back in Richmond. I want to thank y'all for coming this night and help me celebrate my career. Thank you.
I'll tell you a little story. Armstrong was my high school rival. I went to Maggie Walker. We'd have 35,000 at the game, and we always won. And I have film.
But he's got a better presenter than you had. I'm telling you now.
Well, yes.
So there.
Okay.
Our next inductee is Charles Marston. And on deck is going to be Joe Greco with his presenter, Tony Palucci. So guys, come on up.
Good evening. This has really been a nice night, and listening to all the presenters and the inductees. It's a nice feeling to listen. These guys all deserve it. I'd like to just say that I started out in 1961 on a freshman football field with my friend over there. We played 4 years in high school. I went off to college. He had a little tougher assignment. He went off to the Army and defended this great country. When he came back, we reconnected. He said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm involved with some semi-pro football. He said, do you think I can make it? I said, I don't know. I think you got to show up. Well, the first night he came out, the head coach said, run the track. He ran the track all night long. Never got in any drills. He came to me after practice. He says, what the hell was that? I said, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But he showed up the next night for practice. He got in the drills, and he started playing. And he continued to play. He played for 15 years with the Austin Bears, Niles Saints, and the Chicago Lions. I think that's a pretty good accomplishment for a guy that never got to go to college and play. So to make this fast and get this over, because that guy's got a badge over there, and I'm not sure what he's gonna do. I wanna present to you my one and only friend, Charlie Marston.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the American Football Association, President Dave, Roman Stazala, the Almas Travelers, and a great bunch of guys that turned out here for this presentation and backed me up. Thank you very much. Simi Hendrickson, he sponsored me, but my best friend Richie was my presenter. Thank you. for my wife, Kathy. Didn't know much about the game when we first got involved. We got married, and she learned about the game. When our 4 children came along, Connie, Charlie, Chris, and Dig, she still backed me 100%. There's 100 guys I could thank for teammates and all this other stuff. But when now we have 10 grandkids. When my children were growing up, and the grandkids say, Grandpa, did you play ball back in the old days? I started playing in 1969. Richie says, come out and play. I go to the local sporting goods store and I buy all my equipment. It's all white and stuff, and they go out there and the coach says, run. So I run. How many guys in here have no hair from about 8 inches above their ankle down? How many? Raise a hand. We didn't have Pro Wrap, we had the spray stuff. It just ripped all off. But anyways, to make it short and sweet, I'm gonna wrap this up. And I like to honor my children and my grandchildren. I was a good player. Now I'm a Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Tony Perloccio, who is our little chair manufacturer, by the way, will be presenting Joe Greco. And looks like Alvin Alani will be presenting Gail Roseborough is on deck. So, Roseborough, thank you very much. Come on up, Tiny.
Welcome, everybody. This is like going to the dentist office. Okay, first I'd like to thank Dave Birch and the Real family for their hard work in keeping the spirit alive for semi-professional football. The guy I'm going to introduce, and I'm also, my nickname is Mini Guinea, but the guy I'm going to introduce is Joe Greco, the Maxi Guinea, and he played 10 years of semi-professional football with no background experience at all. In high school, we never played organized football or anything. The only thing he ever played was touch football with Ray Sten, 83 class, and the founder of the Triple Cities Jets. So Joe played 10 years, 9 years with the Triple Cities Jets, and 1 year with the Wilkes-Barre Bullets. A couple stories, 1972, Joe got an opportunity to have a tryout with the New York Jets. He lasted 21 days, and we're all excited on the team, and he finally showed back up at practice. Hey, Joe, what kind of experience did you bring back from playing with the Jets? And he goes, experience? Nothing. I says, but I got George Sauer's football pants. So, Joe, you still got those pants? You used to wear them every game in practice. The second one was late in our careers, and this was up in Rochester. Joe was one of the hardest hitting offensive tight ends I ever seen. He would stay with his block, but later on in the years, we got a little slower, and he threw a lookout block, and I ended up breaking my leg. My left leg, put me in the ambulance, and as I'm riding in the ambulance, they wanted me to pay for the ambulance. So we get to the hospital, no doctor's around, so Joe set my leg for me. They put it in the cast. He's a husband, he's a father, he has 2 children, 4 grandchildren, he's a teammate and a friend. And he worked 34 and a half years in the Binghamton Fire Department and retired. Unbelievable, and also played ball. I was supposed to get, wait a minute, I got a call here, wait. Oh, it's my wife, she texted me. He was also my best man. Thank you, Mary. Joe Greco.
Thanks for the intro, Tiny. You took half my information, my speech. But that's what I get for being a best man. I get an intro like that. Thank you. I'd like to thank committee, Dave Birch, the Real family. for this wonderful honor. And of course, I did put up some good numbers, but you don't put up good numbers without teammates. And when you have an offense that's unbelievable, the defense can't do anything because we were so balanced. We weren't one-dimensional. We had a hell of a running game, good wide receivers, tight end, and a great quarterback. And that was the key to our success. Of course, we'll talk about the defense later. Okay, Yogi Berra once said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Well, in my junior year, in junior high school, I decided to forego sports and went to Vivona's Billiard Academy, which is better known as the pool room. And I got pretty good. Played, by the time I was 18, I ran 100 balls a couple times, a lot of 50s, 60s, and 70s. But I always played in the fall in the touch football league, which was really the beginning of the TC Jets. In 1964, the league started, and I would play. I was only 17, and in 1968, a cocky, white-shoed quarterback named Ray Stanton tore up the league. And in 1970, he started the TC Jets, and he asked me if I wanted to play, and the rest was history. So I'm glad I took the fork that I took. If I had played sports in school and say I took the first fork and pursued them in college, who knows where I would have been or would have won. Excuse me. But I know where I've been, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't have my wife of 39 years, 2 children, 4 grandchildren. You gave that away too. And now I am bestowed this honor. Thank you very much. So when you come to the fork in the road, take it. George.
Congratulations, Joe. Next will be Alvin Lally. Will be presenting Gail Roseborough. Roseborough? Sorry, buddy. You can do it? Oh, okay, good.
Good evening, everyone. Again, let me say what a pleasure and an honor it is for me to be here. This is my 3rd or 4th year doing this, and it's just the most uplifting thing that can happen to a group of people who believed in what the game was all about and played it for one reason, just because we couldn't help ourselves and we loved the game of football. The person I sponsored and I'm about to introduce is Gail Butch Roseborough. Gail is a unique young man. I had an opportunity to first play against Roz, as he's affectionately known. Then I played with him. Then I coached with him. And every experience with Roz was the very same. He is about as even keel an assassin as I've ever seen. He didn't have big arms and push weights. He didn't have a 4.4 time. But man, he was just unnatural. He got to the places he needed to be. He made the catches that needed to be made. And he was a gentleman the whole time. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. It's with great pride I introduce Gail Butch Roseborough.
Thanks. You've heard of a boy named Sue? Well, I'm the boy named Gail. I'd just like to say thank you to the American Football Association and my teammates and best friends, Ray, Stanton, John Cornick, Joe Greco, Tiny, Alvin Lally, David Birch, and my son for putting up with me and coming here. That's about it. I'm not going to bore you with all my statistics because they call me Gail.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to follow that. Charles E. Johnson is going to be our next inductee. Unfortunately, Charles, I don't know your presenter, but come on up. And then after Charles, we'll have the 50-50 raffle winner. And then we'll introduce the second Charles Johnson. So Charles Johnson, the second, will be on deck.
Rambo. Yeah, okay.
I know you will. That scares me.
Good evening. I'm not going to go into a long spiel of Coach Johnson's bio. As you can see, it's very long. But what I can say about him is a man that 2 nights a week drove 220 miles round trip for 4 or 5 years, got to love the game of football. And I give a lot of credit to his wife for his hours getting home late at night, up and down the road. And I learned from CJ. He's one hell of a coach. He coached my son. We co-coaches together. My son come to me and told me, Dad, CJ's got a better plan to run the special teams than you do. Well, I didn't get upset. I went to CJ and said, let's do it your way. His way worked. He said, no, your way was working. I just made it a little better. So never give up on somebody that knows a little bit more about the game than what you do. I've learned from him, and I think he's a wonderful human being. He's a very smart coach. As you can see by his bio, he's been everywhere. Believe me, he has. I love him. He's smart. He's a great coach. He's a great friend. CJ Johnson, Charles Johnson, when you get your jacket on over there, you're up next. I went through this in 2010, and my presenter told me, this is your night. So I'm not going to stand up here and yak. It's your turn. I'm going to do like the politicians in D.C. I'm going to defer to the man from Springfield, Virginia, and take a recess. CJ, come on.
I'm not putting these on because I need them. I put them on because they look good on me. Okay. First thing I'd like to do is thank my father who's no longer with us. He taught me and my brothers how to be men of service. Okay. 2 of us were soldiers and 1 of us a correction officer. Next, I'd like to thank my mother, who, for as long as I've known her, she's had my back. Okay, she's always been there. I remember one time I was running a track meet, and it was a state final, and we were in the middle of the race, and I look beside me, and I see my mother. Well, I won that particular race, but on the podium, the judge said, I don't know whether to give it to her or to give it to you. Because she was right beside you the whole time. And she's been there the whole time, my entire life. And for Mom, I love you. Okay? Secondly, I'd like to thank my wife. My wife of 35 years next month. Of that 35 years, she's been beside me. On those 2.5-hour drives, she's always been with me. You know, some of us, football players, coaches, we kind of get obsessed with the game sometimes, So the wives, they have to put up with that. So to all the wives, thank you, okay? I'd like to thank the Cardinal players and the coaches and all the coaches and players that I've coached and played with over the years, because none of us do this on our own. I'd like to thank the AFA for this honor. This is a great honor.
I also like to thank Chaz Brown, my presenter. We chewed a lot of dirt together over the years. You know, some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it memorable. There's a lot of things I like to say as far as, you know, being inducted into the Hall, but all of you know how great the honor this is. But one, I forgot, I gotta thank my kids, okay? I have 2 lovely daughters who gave me 6 grandsons, or grandkids, 5 sons, 1 daughter. You know, that's a legacy that you can't beat right there. Grandkids, somebody that you can play with and give them back, you know? But in closing, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for this memorable night, and thank God for that. Let me see this day. Thank you.
I'm going to call you for some next time. All right, we have one inductee to go, but he very nicely has allowed us to take a very short break here to announce the 50-50 raffle plus the 7 gift certificates. So are there any little kids in the room that would like to come up and pull the tickets? You guys want to come up on the stage? Both of you? Is there anybody else? Anybody else want to come up? As far as the little kids? Yeah, pick mine, I hear it. That's fine. The Ray Reel is going to be mixing all the tickets up. Again, the first ticket we're going to do, Ray, is the 50-50. The 50-50 is going to be worth $450, $475 now. So everybody get their pink tickets. Okay, everybody listening? Okay, it's a pink ticket. Is that a good start? First 2 numbers are 5-5. How many people are still in it? 3. All those tickets, you're not, nothing? Oh, I feel bad. So anyway, 5-5, 3-3, 5. How many in it? You got it? Last digit is 3. 5-5, 3-3, 5-3. Oh, congratulations. $475. Congratulations. 3-3, 5-3, that's it? Okay, guys. Okay, Rael, this is for the $300. Okay, this is for a $300 gift certificate to one of the nationwide restaurants. All right, sweetheart. You can pick one. You pick your mom and dad's. Want to hand it to me? Thank you very much. You're so pretty, too. You're welcome, Amy. Okay, 5-5. This is for the one of the 2 $300 restaurant gift certificates. We're gonna, yep. Again, we're gonna do two of them at $300, and then 5 at $50. So anyway, so the first one of the $300 certificates is 552502. 552502. What do you mean? Oh yeah, Wilbur. Congratulations. You just want to walk back there, Ray? And somewhat embarrassing, these actual certificates themselves are back at the hotel. So what we're asking you to do is put your name, just write your name on the envelope and address, and then we'll put the tickets in the mail. And don't tell me you've heard that before. Now, Wilbur, your ex-wife has said that a couple times, I know, but not you. So anyway, so for the lucky winners, just write your name on the ticket. Ray Ellen is handing out the envelope. Just write your name and address on it, and we'll and then we'll get it sent to you. Where are the kids? Because we got 5 more to go. Okay, this one is going to be. It's come on up, buddy. Nice job. Thanks, Chase. This will be for the other $300 restaurant gift certificate. 552798. Somebody's got to be close. 552798. Oh, come on. There we are. Back of the room. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we've heard that from you before on the football field. Or 4? 5. Okay, these are all going to be $25 restaurant gift certificates. We'll go pretty quickly here so we can get Charles up. 553980, 553980, 15. There we are. Second one, 553862. 553862. Somebody's got it. 553862. It's about time. Okay, 553146. 55. That only counts in some other things. 553146. Right here? Yes, all right. Okay, 553755. That'd be good for Las Vegas. 553755. How many after this? Just one more. Now, do they have to be here to win? In the back? All right, congratulations. We have one more left. Yeah, it's in the mail. Sure. Okay, I just told him it's a pink ticket, so that's a good sign. This is the last one, right? Okay. 552847. 552847. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Chase. You didn't do your table any good. So you're going to bed empty-handed. Brett, congratulations. Okay, just quickly before we bring Charles up for the last presentation, if you have a second to fill out the evaluation form that's in the program, even if it's just a very quick, we love the program, we hate it, we this or that. Dave, is the evaluation form on the website?
It's online too.
So if you don't have time, and we realize it's been a long night, although we're doing great on time, everybody. If you're so inclined and you can't fill the evaluation form out now, it is online on the website. So you can just go to the website, AFA website, and fill it out and send in whatever comments you'd like, and we'll make your dinner and ceremony next year even better. And by the way, it does look like we are going to be back here with all intent and purposes. Dave has done a great job in developing contacts with the Pro Football Hall of Fame building. We're anticipating adding a can I announce maybe a golf outing? Yes. We're adding a possibility of adding a golf outing in addition to the ceremony, so that would be on Saturday. So we'll still have the huddle on Thursday, the ceremony on Friday, yes, I know, and then also the possible golf outing on Saturday. I am sorry, so sorry, gentlemen, but come on up. Both of you just come on up. Charles Rambo Johnson is going to be our next inductee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to present one of my all-time favorite teammates, Mr. Charles Johnson. I don't have a whole lot to say, but just one of the things I want to say about Charles. The first time I saw Charles play, we played against each other in college. I attended Mississippi Valley State University. He was at Southern University. They beat us in the regular season to advance his team to 11-1 record and to go to the Heritage Bowl. He led his team to the Heritage Bowl championship. He also was selected Defensive Player of the Game. A year later, Charles and I had the pleasure of playing together with the New Orleans Hustlers. Although his bio says League City, Texas, we actually met in New Orleans in 1996. Charles was selected League MVP for that particular year. I was selected Special Teams Player of the Year. As the old adage goes, that the front end also goes in conjunction with the back end. I made a lot of interceptions because of Charles, and we went on in 1997 and 98 to continue to play. We played a different style of football. We played arena football on LSU campus with the Louisiana Bayou Beast. The New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl in 2007, I'd like to think 2007. But our team was the first team in state history to win a world title in 1998. Without any further ado, I'd like to present my teammate, 2013 AFA Hall of Fame member, Mr. Charles Rambo Johnson.
Wow. My jacket kind of small. Hey, but that's the side I gave him. I should have told him athletic cut. First of all, I want to thank the AFA. I want to thank Dave. And I want to thank my family for coming. Can y'all stand? I also want to say hi to my daughter, Danae, and my son, Chaz, wasn't able to make it. I want to make this short so we can get out of here. I accept this prestigious honor of greatness with all my heart. I would like to first thank God for my ability giving up to me and for me being in the right mind. I would like to thank my mother, even though she is no longer here with me, for being the strongest single parent a young African-American brother could ever have. I would also like to thank the love of my life, my wife, for being my supporter and being my #1 cheerleader. It's funny how you can get involved in a sport for fun. In the midst of doing what you love, it becomes a learning experience because you learn critical skills in which you incorporate into your life. And it helps you become a better you. The game of football allowed me to experience discipline at its finest, for being punctual, on time, to properly using aggressive tactics to overcome my opponent to attain the victory. Football taught me how to take life and challenges to aggressive tackle any challenges life sent my way. It laid the foundation structure needed to me in my life at a young age. There are rules associated with this game, and before you can play the game, you must learn the rules of playing the game. I could take out all the frustration and any of my pressures built up from me from the week, then on game day, release it on my opponents, laugh out loud. If my mother's car was stolen during the week, it was my opponent. Believe me, all my opponents paid dearly on game day. I hated to lose, so I never gave up, and thought of quitting never came to my mind. This game taught me how to take a win and how to take a good loss. I know you're saying perhaps thinking, what is a good loss? A good loss is losing in spite of giving all your on the field. You can't win them all, but you surely can try. Learning the game of football has helped me not only to play the game, but to be a coach as well. Playing the games allowed me to teach my son from firsthand how to be a good sport and to be their best at the game. This is a very precious moment that I will remember for the rest of my life. And I thank you all for sharing this moment with you. God bless.
Again, congratulations, Charles, and also thank you for waiting as long as you did. Just as we did with our first set of inductees, can we have the second set of inductees who we just inducted, and please stand so we can give you a round of applause as well. Okay, all right, that pretty much does it for the evening.
Last evening, a lot of you might not have been here, but we recognized Craig for his NFL officiating experience. But I really want to seriously present to you the AFA Significant Accomplishment Award. And this is brand new. So rather than the gag gift, you get this. Okay? So take us home.
For those of you that didn't know, I was very, very fortunate to have been selected as one of the NFL replacement officials last year. After 33 years, it's one of those poster child type situations. Never in my wildest dreams that I ever thought that I would go beyond the college level, the Big Ten, which is where I was at. And it just goes to show to everybody and anybody, never give up your dreams and your hopes and your desires, because you just never know what might be around the next corner, as it certainly was for me. This is not an individual accomplishment. It was a wonderful journey all along. The destination is really kind of a moot point. This is the wonderful journey of 33 years of getting to this point, of having this wonderful opportunity of working at the professional levels. They didn't even think we would see the football field. We ended up working 9 games, so quite an honor. And the very first game, ironically, having just been the MC of last year's AFA Hall of Fame banquet, I was awarded the Hall of Fame game right here in Canton, Ohio, a month later as the head referee, with 17 million people watching all my mistakes. So anyway, have a nice evening, everybody. All the new inductees, come on up here. We're going to get your picture. And once that's done, then all the alumni come on up. Thank you. Oh, my God. I still like my little buddy, but that's nice of you.
No, nice of you. I really appreciate it. That just made all that day. Good.